Aloha and welcome. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about splitting and joining strings. We're going to be using predominantly two different methods. One is the split method, and the other is the join method. So without further ado, let's jump right into our favorite code editor, VS Code. So when we're splitting and joining strings, we're going to use the first one we're going to go over is the split method. And by default, the split method is going to split a string on its white spaces if you don't include any type of a separator in there. So what it's going to return is a list of tokens. So be expecting a list to be returned from this function. And also know that you don't need to include a separator, but you can. So let me go ahead and X out everything here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to print out the rain in Spain lands mainly on the plain, and we're going to split it and see what we get back from that. And we get a, look here, we've got our brackets. So a bracket means a list. So we get back a list of tokens, and the tokens are the rain in Spain lands mainly on the plain. Notice now we don't have any spaces in here because those were our separators and those got removed. So we have a list of these tokens now. So now that we've done that, we're going to go and we're going to take a look. Hold on, we're going to use a different separator because we can. That was showing you what happens when you use no separator. It does it on the white space. But now if we're going to do it, let's use the word Spain. We could use any word in here really, but we're just going to do it on Spain. We hit play here, we're going to get, look, we're going to get the rain is, we get lands mainly on the plain. So notice we don't have Spain in here anymore because we split it right where this is. We're using that as the separator. So we have everything on this side, including that space, and everything on the other side, including this space. So that is how the split works. Next, we're going to talk about the join. So join does really the inverse of what we just did with split. So with join, we're going to add a separator to each item in the list. So it's a very useful function for things like figuring out how to figuring out email addresses based on list of usernames. So what I've done here is I've created a list of usernames: John, Kimo, Greg, Mary, Leilani, and Kavika, and we're going to loop through them. And as we loop through them, we're going to use the string, which is just an @ sign, and we're going to do a dot join. We're going to add the user, and we're going to add Hawaii or we're going to join the list of user and Hawaii edu. So what it's going to do is it's going to join user to hawaii.edu with the separator of the @ mark in between. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We hit play, and just as we expected, we got John at hawaii.edu, Kimo at hawaii.edu, Greg at hawaii.edu, and so on and so forth. So this is really convenient. We can use this to make all kinds of light work of things. So we're going to go ahead and comment this out. And we're going to look at the next one. We're going to use a simple example of using an empty string. Often you're going to see empty strings used for joining. And in an example like this, all we're doing is we're taking the list of tokens, which are the little pieces of a domain name, and we're going to join them all together into the blank, the empty string essentially. So when we hit run here, we're going to get http://www.ebay.com. It simply combines everything into one string. So that's really convenient. So the next thing we're going to do is show how you can use these together in unison to do something. So one of the things you often deal with is converting file names of one operating system to a file name that's valid in a different operating system. So for example, you go from the backward slashes to forward slashes. So in order to differentiate this, we're going to start with file name C:. The reason we have two backslashes here is because one is an escape character. So if we're going to use one, we have to actually use two to escape it and allow it to be used in that string. So we have file name equals this. Then we're going to print that out just to see what it looks like. And then we're going to say print, and this is where we kind of piece it together. So when you're piecing this together, you take, when you want to take everything, the first thing I really look at is file name.split. So you do file name.split because we want to split it on these and come up with essentially the C, the users, John, report.xls. So we do that. First, we split it. We get that into a token, a list of tokens. After we get that, we want to then join it to the forward slashes. So we do that. So you're kind of working, you work inside out. So I actually, when I was coding, I did this part first because I knew that this is what I wanted to replace. And then I went ahead and added this part to it afterwards. So if we do that, and then we hit run, we get, as we expected, we're converting our, the backward slashes to forward slashes. So this is how you use them in unison to solve different problems that you have. So this is relatively short compared to our last lesson, which ran almost 40 minutes. So I will leave you with this one probably around 5 minutes. So remember the split and join. You're going to use split a lot. You're going to use join a lot. Get familiar with them. Try them out for different projects. Come up with some ideas on your own to try use them with. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to email me, reach out. We can set up a Zoom meeting and I can lead you through some examples as well. Until the next lesson, take care and I'll see you then. Bye.